What is up, guys? So today we're going to talk about what it's like living with heroin addiction, a day in the life of a junkie, and talk about the things that you see. See, now I'm in recovery. I can look back now and I can see all these crazy things that normal people shouldn't really see. And it's looking back now from a clear head that you realise that all this stuff is crazy. It's not normal. It's not normal to be around violence every day. It's not normal to be getting robbed and beat up, and it's not normal to see addicts that have got their arms or legs hanging off, and it's all eaten away with bacteria, and they've got open wounds, and you can literally see the bones where all the flesh-eating bacteria ate it all away, and you can smell it, and it's like normal people shouldn't see that, because what they do is they'll hit a vein, or they'll miss a vein, they'll miss the vein, it'll all get infected, and what they should do is go to the hospital. But when you're in that world of addiction, you just put it off, because you've got to get money. While you're in the hospital, you can't get money, you can't do drugs, so they end up just not going to the hospital, and that's why you see addicts or former addicts that have had their legs cut off or their arms cut off. I've never used needles, so I don't really have to worry about that. But I've been around it, and it's only now when you're clean and sober you can look back and see just how crazy it is. But anyway, setting the scene, it was roundabout. I'm going to talk about early in my addiction, like round about the 90s, about 1998. And I was a full-blown heroin addict. I was homeless. And heroin back then, it used to be a lot different to what it is now. Like, the last time I relapsed, it was years ago. And I noticed the gear is terrible now. Like, there's people using heroin, going to the police station, getting arrested, getting tested, and it's coming back clean because there's hardly any gear in it. And I remember the last time I had it, you can't even smoke it. It just burns up, and it's just like a thick black, horrible smoke. It chokes you. It's horrible. See, back in the 90s, it was a lot better, and it was like probably 70% pure. Now you're lucky if you get 7% pure. But back then, you could buy a bag of heroin, and I've always smoked it, and you could put it on the foil, and it would just run nice and clear. It'd be a nice clean running on the foil. There'd be no burning up until you get to the end of it, and then it frazzles up. And you could like sit and smoke, have a tenner bag of heroin. You could have it, and you would nod out, and then probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you'd need another. Now people are like buying a tenner bag of heroin, they whack it in their arm, and it doesn't even do it. They're straight back out to get more because it's not doing anything. So heroin was a lot better back in the 90s, but along with that, the detox is a lot worse because it's more pure, so it's a harder detox. And I remember my first ever detox, I'll never forget it. I didn't sleep for like 18 nights. And people say, oh, the world record's only a week or something, but that's without the chemical enhancements. That's just doing it naturally. Like, when you're an addict and you stop using, you can't sleep, and it lasts for ages. So the detox was a lot harder than what it is now. And what we used to do is, like, we used to have to try and find somewhere to sleep, like go to somebody's house. But then if you find another addict to stop at their house, then you have to pay them. So you have to get twice as more money. And it's just 24/7. You're just on the go all the time. As soon as you wake up, if you do find somewhere, if you're lucky enough to find someone who'll put you up for free, then you have to watch your pockets, because they'll be in your pockets. They'll be nicking your gear. It's a nightmare. It's never ending. But anyway, if you do find somewhere to stop, I remember once we were stopping at one of my mates. I spoke about it before, and halfway through the night, he was a fethead, so he was always tinkering with stuff. Like, when you're on fet, you just do stuff, just crazy stuff. And he took his TV apart, put it back together, but he'd done it wrong and got some wires crossed. And anyway, he's plugged it in, and he'd gone out and set the whole house on fire. It was only because I couldn't sleep that night. It was like I don't know what it was like. intervention from God or whatever you want to call it. I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in none of that. But I just couldn't sleep that night, and I don't know why. I remember looking at the ceiling, just tossing and turning, and then I heard a loud cracking noise, like I was like, what the fuck's that? And it get getting louder, and it got more, and then I jumped up, I opened the door, and there's fucking flames everywhere coming up the stairs. We had to run through the fucking flames, it was crazy. And he'd run off because he was wanted by the police, so... but yeah, well, if you do find somewhere to sleep, then you'll have your bit of gear. You've always got to save some for the morning, because there's nothing worse than waking up in the morning with no drugs. So as soon as you wake up, as soon as you open your eyes, it's like, oh, fuck. Another day in this miserable world of addiction. And as soon as you open your eyes, you're rattling, you're detoxing straight away. Your eye, usually you'll get a little stream outside your eyes because your eyes start watering. You start rapid fire sneezing, it's horrible. So you need drugs as soon as you wake up. Now try and imagine that. And you can't just go and borrow a tenner. You can't go to your family and ask for a tenner. You can't go and get a tenner out from the bank because all that's gone. You've got nothing. So you have to, as soon as you wake up, you need money just to function. So you try and save gear for the morning. What I used to do is smoke all my heroin throughout the day and save the tube, but you smoke it through, like, and it gathers on the tube. So I would save it for the next morning and then just smoke the tube the next morning. It's not much, but it gets you out of bed, it gets you function, so you can go out and get some money. So as soon as you wake up, you have your little bit of gear, and if you haven't got any gear, then you have to go out, like shoplifting or however you get your money. I used to shoplift because it was the quickest, easiest way to do it. So if you've got no gear, you have to go out shoplifting while you're detoxing. So imagine that, you're all paranoid, you're sweating, you feel sick, your head's hurting, you're sneezing, your eyes are watering, and you have to go out shoplifting. And what I used to do is I used to go around looking for empty shops where I could just run in, just grab loads of stuff and get out, and you don't worry about the cameras. You worry about that later. And that's why sometimes if you're a shoplifter, if you get caught, eventually, while you're in the cells, you'll get a police visit and they'll come and say, all right, we're charging you with another 5 because we've got you on camera. So you end up going to court with like 10 shopliftings. So yeah, I used to walk around, look for somewhere empty so I could just fly in, grab whatever, come out, and then you'd go and sell it. And then you'd go and score, and that's always a pain in the arse. You need money for the phone because mobiles weren't invented. Well, they were invented, but they weren't mainstream like they are now. And then you have to find a phone that freaking works, and then if you've only got 20p for the phone and you put it in and it's an answer phone, you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So then you have to go and get another 20p. It's just never ending, and half the time the phones are all knackered anyway because the vigilantes used to smash the phones in. And then when you ring him, you'll go and say, go into the alleyway behind whatever, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And then you'll be stood in this fucking alleyway. An hour later, there's no one there. It's like, fuck's sake. Then you have to go back to the phone. You have to get another 20p and ring him again. And he'll say, I'm coming now. And then you'll have to go and wait again. And then there's usually a crowd of people. So you're all stood there looking around. There's like 10 of you all waiting. You're all junkies. You can tell a junkie. There's people going by. Sometimes they phone the police. It's a fucking nightmare. And then eventually, when you do finally get your drugs, then you've got the local knobheads, the taxmen that are trying to, they'll come up behind, fucking grab you, put a knife to you. It's just, this is a miserable world of addiction. It's horrible. And, but yeah, let's say you finally get your drugs, you comes out, and you get back home, put it on the foil, have a boot. You might nod out for a little bit if it's good stuff, which it usually was back then. And then an hour later, off you go again. And that's the entire day, just running around, trying to get money, trying to phone dealers, going meeting dealers. There's a great quote from someone who wrote a book, I can't remember who it was. He said you spend like half your life waiting. When you're an addict, you spend most of the time just waiting for other people. And sometimes you'll get caught. So then you've got to worry about that. And just imagine that, you're out shoplifting, you're rattling, you've gone in, security guard appears from nowhere, grabs you, police come, and then you've got the embarrassment, everybody looking at you with the handcuffs on, and so fucking depressing. And then you're already rattling, so when you get to the cells, you know you're going to be there all day, you're going to be there all night, probably because you've offended whilst you're on bail, or you know, because of my previous conviction, I've just got loads of charges from stealing, from being a drug addict. Every time I get caught, you know, there's no bail for me. It's just straight to prison. So you get caught, you're in the cells, you know you're going to be up rattling all night. So you've got to sit there all day, have your interview. They'll keep you for court, and then you've got to sit there all night. You can't sleep, so you're up all day, you're up all night. And then it's they'll come and get you for the court the next morning. Straight to court and straight to prison. And that's the life of an addict, just on loop. That's what you do. And I just can't understand how I couldn't get away from it. But that's what it does. I mean, you see these people on my £600 life, you know, they're eating themselves to death. They can't even walk. They've got the fucking mask on where they can't breathe, but they can't stop eating. It's same with smoking, and that's on a lower level, you know. Stopping smoking, I did it easy. But there's people out there that can't, they kill themselves. They know they're dying. They know if they don't stop, they're going to die. But they keep doing it because they can't stop. And that's just a low level of addiction. And the same with the food. You know, I lost weight pretty easy, but there's people out there that can't do it. So imagine that times 1,000, and that's heroin addiction, you know. That's how hard it is to break. And a lot of people fail because even if you do get through the miserable detox, what lasts weeks and months, you know, so ill for weeks on end, and it just lasts forever because you can't sleep. Even if you do get past that, then you've got all the anxiety, the depression, all the mental trauma, and then you've got a full 24 hours in a day what you need to kill, you know. What you've been on the go, running around getting money for heroin for all this time, so your days are full. And now you're clean, you know, you've got 24 hours in a day and you've got nothing to do. All your friends are gone because you've ripped them all off. All your family members have, you know, you've ripped all them off. And in my case, all my old friends are all married, settled down, you know, and I've been stuck in this world of addiction. And when you get clean, it's like your body matures, but your brain, you know, I'm still stuck in the 90s. It's like, because all the things that you normally go through, like building a family, having kids, building a career, and, you know, buying a mortgage and learning to drive, all that sort of stuff, what normal people do, I didn't do it because I was busy in doorways, fucking doing heroin and in a prison cell. So I haven't matured like normal people do, because I haven't been through the normal things that normal people go through. So it's like your body's matured, but my brain's still back in the 90s. I still think I can go out raving on a weekend, and you know, and that's why I do immature things on here. And but yeah, I'm in recovery now, so I try to put videos out just to show people what it's really like. Maybe people can watch it and say, oh yeah, I go through that, I've seen that. And it's interesting for the normal person. In the world of addiction, you know, you see things like doing drugs around dead bodies, seeing people inject into the femoral artery, which is a big vein that goes through the body, and they just stick a big needle like that 10 times a day into the vein. You know, you'll be sat there in a room and some guys will just come in with knives and start fucking paggering everyone. It's crazy. But you get desensitized to it, you know. You see, first time I saw someone dig someone up, I was like, fuck it. It went through me, you know. I don't like needles. But you get used to it because they're doing it like 50 times a day. And then you see the open wounds on their arms and they've got dirty bandages around it, and they open it up and it's fucking, all their arms have been ate away, but they don't go to the hospital. It's crazy. But anyway, that's the 15-minute mark, so that's the video for today. That's what it's like, just one day in that world of heroin addiction. So imagine years of that, and then you add into all the prison time, all the violence in prison, and you know what I mean? I've been I've seen plenty of stuff what normal people don't see. And that's what it's like. That's a day in the life of being a heroin addict. So if you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Nerf, get pap.